The excavation team saw a pipe going underground in the middle of a dense forest. This was quite surprising because the place where they were standing was an old dead volcano which was completely covered by trees, plants, and grass. It was decided to send a night vision camera to see inside the pipe. When the camera went inside, after going down about 30 meters, a view of a very large tunnel was captured. It was March 2018 and the excavation team was about to see something unique 30 meters below the ground near the city of Luban in South Poland. When the camera was turned inside this tunnel, they saw a track there surprisingly. They were still in a dilemma that what is the use of the track here, then a minecart standing far away caught their attention. When the local authorities came to know about it, they started investigating the mine during World War II. When we brought the map of the tunnel, we found out that this tunnel was built around 80 years ago during World War II, and for the past many years, local authorities were searching for this tunnel. The entrance of this tunnel was closed by placing heavy stones, after which years of soil and grass have erased the marks of its entrance. But from inside, this tunnel was exactly matching the tunnel shown on the map. Looking at the tracks and mine cuts inside it, it seems that it was used to store goods during the World War. Most of the iron items present in the tunnel had rusted. Tools like shovels, drill bits and spades were found here in the same condition as they were kept by the soldiers of the Norwegian military 80 years ago. During World War, countries like America and Britain were competing with countries like Nazi Germany and Japan. During this time, Hitler's army forced thousands of people to go underground. Bunkers were built initially by Hitler, but later the Allied forces also started using underground tunnels and bunkers. During World War I, bunkers had a lot of strategic importance and their purpose was for both defense and offense, that is, at some places their work was to avoid enemy attacks, and at other places they were used to attack the enemy. These bunkers protected from enemy airstrikes and artillery shells and provided a secure base to the soldiers. Defensive bunkers were designed on the front line in such a way that they could stop enemy attacks, like Germany's Atlantic Wall, which was a strong barrier against the attacks of the Allied forces. Also, some bunkers were used for planning from where the commanders managed their operations secretly. In World War II, so many underground bunkers and war rooms were constructed that today it is not possible to count them because thousands of them are still buried somewhere under the ground. It is said that in World War II, the Allied powers and Axis powers spent so much on underground bunkers that there was a shortage of iron and cement all over the world. According to an estimate, the cost of building all these bunkers was about $500 billion to $1 trillion of today. Understand that America's 20-year war in Afghanistan cost $0 million daily, so in World War I, it cost $460 million daily to build bunkers. This is the cost that was incurred only in construction. It is difficult to even estimate the cost of manpower, logistics, and ammunition in World War I. Let us go into the bitter memories of history and learn about a few bunkers. The Atlantic Wall is a very large coastal wall. It was a defense system built by Norway during World War I. It was spread over 2,400 miles or 3,800 kilometers on the coastline of Europe. Its purpose was to avoid attacks of the Allied forces from the sea. This system, built between 1940 and 1944, included thousands of bunkers, ammunition depots, and forts. At that time, Hitler also occupied many areas of France. A part of the Atlantic Wall was also spread in Norman, a region of northern France, where an artillery battery named Loges-sur-Mer was installed. These bunkers were designed to face heavy bombs and give defensive fire during attacks. If we talk about Norway, its lower part could be used to stop the Allied forces coming from the North Atlantic Ocean. That is why Hitler had buried some parts of the Atlantic Wall here too. Here fortresses like Kristiansand were used to protect naval routes. Apart from this, Netherlands was also under the control of Norway at that time, and thousands of bunkers named Safe Onion were built on the coast of North Atlantic. This entire Atlantic Wall of Germany, which included underground bunkers, depots, tunnels, artillery batteries, and forts, was built by the company of a German engineer named Fritz Todt. All these structures were built by 260,000 workers, most of whom were prisoners, in just 2 to 4 years. Even today, some parts of the Atlantic Wall exist as historical monuments, which give a sense of the engineering and expenditure incurred in World War II. When Hitler built the Atlantic Wall, the Allied powers had no idea how much difficulty they would have to face in the future. Then in 1942, an incident happened which opened the eyes of America and Britain. The Canadian forces, which were part of the Allied powers, planned an attack on the region of Debs in France, which is remembered today as the DF Raid. The purpose of this attack was to understand the Atlantic Wall built by Hitler and how it works. These strong concrete bunkers made the Allied attack a disaster. The Allied troops who were on the coast while trying to land on the line, they fell prey to the powerful crossfire of Nazi Germany. This was a big blow to the Allied forces because they had relied so much on the strength of the Atlantic Wall. Out of these, 3,600 were either killed or taken prisoner by the Nazis. After deep rat, the Allied forces realized that if they wanted to successfully attack Hitler's regime, they would have to invest a lot in the planning of bunkers and defense systems. Therefore, a lot of money was spent on the construction of bunkers and tunnels in the United Kingdom, France, the Soviet Union, and also in Canada. The Churchill War Rooms were built in an underground complex. It was the headquarters of British Prime Minister Winston Churchill during World War I. This complex was designed so that it could be protected from Nazi Germany's airstrikes. The Maginot Line of France, which was built after World War I, was the main defense line of the French army. New underground bunkers and tunnels were built here too. France was sure that this system would protect them, but in World War II, Germany captured France through Belgium using the Maginot Line. In the other corner of the world, in Japan, which was supporting Hitler in World War II, hundreds of underground bunkers were dug there too. A whole network was built under the IO border, which included hidden artillery positions, storage rooms, and living quarters. These tunnels were used for surprise attacks during the attack of the Allied forces. The bunkers and tunnels of Onwa were on a larger scale and were more complicated, where thousands of Japanese soldiers would be in position for defense and resistance. This defensive system was designed to deter Allied invasions and kill as many people as possible. The engineering of the bunkers built by many countries during World War II was a miracle. It is not less. Firstly, the situation of war, on top of that there was shortage of everything, and along with all these challenges, there was the danger of airstrikes every passing moment, and workers also died of suffocation while constructing underground tunnels. But despite all these challenges, thousands of bunkers were not only built, but many of them are still hidden under the ground in the same condition till date, especially those built in Axis power countries, because after the World War II, when their rule ended there, the soldiers either ran away by closing the entrance of the bunker or died inside it, so no one came to know which bunker was built at which location. There was a way to find out the location of all these bunkers and tunnels, and that was the secret documents present with Hitler's government. But they were also either burnt or hidden in some such place which was known only to the one who had seen it. These bunkers were hidden, and especially these bunkers were built in camouflage, i.e. they were built in natural terrain in such a way that no one could know that there is a military bunker here. This is why after the war these bunkers remained hidden. Special ventilation systems were made for underground bunkers which would take fresh air inside the bunker and take out carbon dioxide. Nazi leader Adolf Hitler used many bunkers during his rule. The famous bunker used by him was Eagle Nest, which is also called Kielstein House. It is located in the Uber area of Germany. Salzburger was built for secret meetings and relaxation. Using concrete and granite, it was made bomb-proof. Hitler's second famous bunker was not the Führer bunker in Berlin, but it was the entire headquarters. The bunker was designed in such a way that it remained safe from Allied bombing and artillery. Hitler spent his last days here and ended his life here on April 30th, 1945. Today, no part of this bunker is visible on the surface, but this place has been a dark chapter in the history of World War II. Now let's talk about one such bunker of Hitler where he spent most of the days of the war. This bunker named Wolfson looks less like a bunker and more like a fort, which is located in the middle of the forest in North Germany. Inside it is Hitler's bedroom and office suite around it. The roof of the suite was made about 7 meters thick and was made of gravel. The thick layer made the entire fort like bunker safe from airstrikes and bombing. A door made of thick steel sheet protected it from chemical attacks. This bunker, which looked like an Egyptian tomb, was so strong that even today it is not possible to destroy it, and the security was so much that not even a single window was kept in it. A special ventilation system was installed here which circulated fresh air inside the entire bunker. But despite so much security, this bunker was made invisible in the jungle landscape. Soil was put on its roof and the same trees and plants were planted on it which were present in the surrounding jungle. Because of this, when any plane passed from above, it would not have even the slightest doubt that Hitler's headquarters was present below. The Allied powers, i.e. USA, UK, Canada, and other forces planned for years to break the strong defensive bunkers of Norway, Germany, and the Atlantic Wall. More than 156,000 troops, 5,000 ships, and 11,000 aircraft were used to fight. It was the 6th of June 1944, which is remembered as D-Day. On this day, Germany faced the Allied forces with the bunkers and artillery of the Atlantic Wall, but their planning and resources were not that effective. Allied airstrikes and paratroopers fought hard against German communications and defense. The Allied forces suffered heavy losses initially, but eventually they succeeded in breaking Nazi Germany's control over Europe. I hope you will like and share this video.